What you are not going to hear from me today, which was planned, is a program on cannabis. I have a series of programs called Understanding Cannabis. They will not air here. This is whole new to me, not being able to bring you the programs I have chosen. Hello, everybody. I'm Patti Patane. Meet the power of intelligent conversation. What you are not going to hear from me today, which was planned, is a program on cannabis. I have a series of programs called Understanding Cannabis. They will not air here. I'm going to apologize for that and just get on with it. We're also going to cover today how banks are dealing with the cannabis industry and the sales, and how the state is losing millions of dollars of cannabis tax. We're also going to talk about plastics that are going to the dump. We're going to talk about paper straws and wood sticks. And we're going to talk about paper receipts you get when you buy just about anything. I'm also going to bring something that is very important, kind of close to me, and that is there's someone here locally that needs a kidney. I know this is unusual for me, but it's about time. And also, a wonderful note, I'm going to tell you where you can buy the best apple pie you have ever tasted, except for what my mom and your mom used to make. What has come about now has given me an opportunity. I have an open half hour where I was going to air a program on Understanding Cannabis. So I'm taking advantage of the extra airtime that I have now. And I'm going into a few things that I would have done an entire program on, but I wasn't quite ready for the entire program yet because, as you know, I do quite a bit of research. So we're going to just touch on a couple of subjects, and hopefully you all will bear with me. This is whole new to me, not being able to bring you the programs I have chosen. I've been doing this for some 30 years on my own, and 20 before that as a reporter. So, you know, when an entity is as big as Charter Communications, you know, which owns Spectrum, which you're watching now, they have billions of dollars. And the last thing I'm about to do is go get a white horse, find my sword, play Don Quixote, and try and fight a decision that they have made not to air any programs about cannabis. I have to respect that. Do I like it? Well, no. I'm a member of the press, but I can't go there. So what I'm asking you to do, and I know it's inconvenient because, you know, when I go home in the evening or when you all get home, you know, we're used to it. We're used to this, particularly the 60 and over crowd that my cannabis programs for education are targeted to. We go in the house and, you know, we do what we do, and then we just, oh gosh, long day. You just sit down, grab your clicker for your television, you sit down and you watch your favorite show. Hopefully one of those favorite shows is Patti Patane. It has been, and I really, really appreciate it. So I'm going to have to ask you to go to my website. I know it's inconvenient, but until I find an alternative, which I'm working on, that you can just sit down at your television and go click again. I'm getting there. You will not find my cannabis programs here on this channel of Spectrum Communications with Charter. There are 3 parts on my website, part 1, part 2. You have seen part 1 for the past year here, but now that is on pattipatane.com, as is part 2 and part 3. They're very comprehensive. They contain health warnings about cannabis and seniors. Health warnings. Please take a time to go to pattipatane.com and make sure that you have the information that you need. So it's pattipatane.com, and they're on the television page. You're going to make it very simple to find. I, for one, don't like having to maneuver the internet today because it's not as simple as it could be. But again, I'm asking you to go to the website and watch these 3 programs. Right now, let me explain something that came up recently that I believe I can talk about. There is a local hemp. They're a medicinal hemp producer, and they sell here in the Coachella Valley. You have seen them on my show. There's an issue with the federal banking system and being able to keep the money that you make from the hemp, pure medicinal hemp. There's an issue with banks that don't want any cannabis money at all. Some time ago, this particular manufacturer of pure 100% medicinal hemp oil opened up what is called a merchant account. If you're in business, you know what a merchant account is. It's where people, are able to, you swipe a card, a credit card or a debit card, and it goes into a special account. It's called a merchant account. And this particular producer has had and still has a merchant account at a local at a worldwide Wells Fargo. They have a merchant account at Wells Fargo. The thing about Wells Fargo is that, and many other banks, I'm sure, they charge almost 7% of the money you have in there for them to allow you to put your money in there. There's a 7% charge on merchant accounts at Wells Fargo, which they're in business. They're entitled to make money. It's a service they're providing. And this particular merchant, purveyor of hemp oil, also had a bank account which they could write the check, so that you take the money from the merchant account and you transfer it over to the checking account, which is how you pay your bills. And they had that bank account at Chase. Now, they recently got a letter from Chase saying, "We're closing your account," and they probably didn't give any real good reason. I have yet to hear a good reason, but they closed the bank account. So this makes it a little difficult for this particular really good business to pay their bills. They're working on an alternative. So I went to my bank, which is Wells Fargo, and I asked them, I said, can you take their account? Because they have a merchant account with you. And the banker I was talking to said, sure, not a problem. Well, it was a problem, and they can't do it. It appears that the logic of all of this is we will take your hemp/cannabis merchant money, which we have you pay us for, but we won't let you have a checking account where the bank pays interest to the merchant. That was something that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I checked into it, and it's the way it is. There is a banking issue, as you know, with anybody in the cannabis business today, and I can respect the laws of the land, but there comes a point where logic seems to have gone out the window. I recently read where our new governor, Gavin Newsom, he is going to work on legislation that will provide banking for the cannabis industry, ease the tax burden on retailers, and crack down on sales to minors. I agree with absolutely all of that. Another point being is the cannabis industry in the state of California, and probably all the other states, I'm not picking on California, happens to be seriously choking the cannabis industry with taxes, regulations, burdensome, and more taxes, which ends up costing people who really, particularly seniors on a fixed income, can't afford the product. I'm trying to be careful here with my language so this program stays on the air. There's a problem And I hope that the governor can fix it, because 80% of all California cannabis sales do not have a bank account, and they do not pay taxes. So that's the end of my my comment about the fact that I'm asking you to please go to PattiPatane.com to watch my programs, my educational programs on cannabis. And I thank you, and I apologize again for the inconvenience. One of the things that I did, which is probably part of my problem, when I was about 20 years old, and I still do, the first book I read on logic was the basic works of Aristotle. Now, Aristotle was a Greek philosopher, among many other things, and logic. Basically, what it comes down to, and I'm going to read this, and I'm going to put it up on the screen. Logic is the art of non-contradictory identification. Basically, no concept that I form is valid unless I integrate it without contradiction. Also, he said, to arrive at a contradiction is to confess an error in one's thinking. And that goes back to the banking issue. They'll take your money if they can make money off of it, but they won't take your money if they have to pay you for your money. That is not logical. Now, in time to come, I'm going to do an entire program on logic, and I hope we can all learn something and maybe pass it on to some of the businesses that are having issues with logic. Now, on to some kind of interesting things that I would not normally have brought you this soon, but I'm going to. One is that we have a recycling problem in America because China stopped taking all of our plastics and all of our garbage, basically, all of our plastic garbage. So according to what I've read, most all of the plastics now and all the stuff we recycle, it's gone to a dump. And I want to compliment a couple of businesses. This is a paper straw. And I had lunch not too long ago at Sun City Shadow, what is it? Del Webb's Sun City Shadow Hills. And went in, had some lunch, and they gave me a paper straw. Now, everybody should have paper straws and not plastic. They're a one-use thing, and then they basically begin to disintegrate. You can put it in water, and before long, it'll break into little paper particles, just like a newspaper or any other piece of paper. So to Del Webb and Sun City, thank you. Thank you for going with paper straws. May not seem important right now, but really it is. And then Starbucks. You know how you get a cup of coffee and you can, stir it up with sugar and cream and stuff with a little plastic stick? No more. They have a wood stick to turn it up. Just like, the paper and wood are made out of the same thing. So, we've got paper straws now and wood. It's a beginning, folks. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but again, a compliment to Starbucks and a compliment to Del Webb Sun City. We do have a problem, and is it a problem that is solvable? Yes. Have I always told you that I'm not going to bring you a problem unless I have a solution? Yes. Do I have a solution to begin to fix all of this within each community? Yes, I do. Am I ready to bring it to you right now? Soon. Just give me a little more time. I'm just waiting on a few more things, and then I'll bring the whole plan to you. I've been rather distracted for the last definitely 3 years from my programming. And basically, I've been on the same path of jobs and more jobs, probably for the past 12 years. So again, it goes back to my wanting to bring you solutions rather than problems. Another thing that's happening out in the marketplace. I was at Sprouts the other day, the nice little market, Sprouts. And I I bought some things. It came to $92.85. Now, normally when you go someplace, you get this is a short one. You know how you can get a really, really long receipt? Well, guess what Sprouts has done? They're giving you a short receipt because, duh, you know what they did? They went ahead and put, when you have it here, it continues on the back, as opposed to being blank. Saves paper, saves waste, ends up saving them money. These things cost money. So I want to compliment Sprouts. They went around to the back. Every business should do that. It's a simple computer thing, I think. I'd like to see more of it. Again, this is a very difficult program for me because I had planned on bringing you health warnings about cannabis, but I'm going to try and get over that, and again ask you to please go to my website, PattiPatane.com, and the television page. Many times, as you know, I have a great video person. His name is Steve. He's fabulous. And we do some things after we record. We do a few things in what is called post-production. Now we put my name under here, and we put pictures up, visual, like, we put pictures up. Now, sometimes I don't always put pictures up, and I've been asked, why don't I do that? And the reason is because I ask you to visualize. I ask you to think about seeing what I see. So sometimes I'll put a picture up, and sometimes I won't. In this case, I'm going to ask you to visualize. And again, part of this visual story is personal. The other part is that I am asking anyone out there to help somebody who really needs help. As you know from my other programs, in 2014, I had an issue with my right kidney. They discovered a growth growing in it. The growth happened to have been malignant. It was cancerous. And they took it out. Had they not, I would have been dead in August of 2015. I am grateful. I was so very fortunate. It was kind of a divine intervention. It was a divine intervention that saved my life. So I only have one kidney. And I had always told my friends, I said, listen, I'm very healthy. So I always told my friends, I said, look, on my driver's license, I'm a donor. And but if anybody ever needed a kidney or piece of my liver, come on down. I'm more than happy to do that because we only need one kidney. I was asked to help somebody a couple of years ago. And this is a brilliant lady. She's a professional. She's in her 50s. She's done phenomenal work all around the world. She's from here, Palm Springs, Coachella Valley. She lives here. She was born diabetic, which forces a lot of people into kidney failure if you're diabetic. So she has been on kidney dialysis for the past 5 years. And a couple of years ago, I was asked to help to see what I couldn't do, because when you go through dialysis, if you've never been into a dialysis clinic, which I have, it's depressing. But also there's a sign of hope there, because these machines that take their blood out and circulate it into a machine to clean it because they don't have a kidney to do that, and then they put the clean blood back in. First time I saw it, I thought it was rather barbaric. But then I realized it's all we have right now to save their lives, unless they can get a new kidney. Now, we're born with two. Some people are not, but the majority of us are born with two kidneys. We only need one, so we got a spare. What you see in the dialysis clinics really got to me, because I could have been one of those people, and I'm not. So I am asking anyone out there who has an extra kidney to call me if they'd like to consider helping someone live. Once you've been on dialysis for 4 or 5 years, you're reaching the end of its effectiveness, and you will die. So here's my phone number, and if anyone out there, this particular lady said, I think I'll go on social media and basically beg for a life-saving kidney. And I said, no, please don't do that. I'll try and do this for you. So, we are so fortunate today with medicine, Western medicine, surgeries. We are the luckiest people in the world with our health system here in America. Is it perfect? No. Too many people are left out of the loop. Too many people can't afford their medication. But that, again, is a subject for another program, which, by the way, I have an extensive knowledge and a partial solution for. So if you feel like you'd like to give something you have that you don't need, one of your kidneys, if you would call me, and I'll make arrangements for you to meet this really wonderful lady. The other thing, you may be wondering, I don't want to spend all that time in the hospital. Let me tell you something. When they took my kidney out, I have no scars. You will have no scars. They do it by a robot. I walked out of the hospital 3 days after they took my kidney out. And so it is not as invasive as it used to be. It's really, if I could even say that removing a kidney is relatively simple and really safe, I'm telling you it is, because I've had it done. And takes a little bit of time and good doctors, which this nice lady has. So, trust me, in all my 50 years of broadcasting, this is the first time I have ever requested my audience consider giving something of themselves to save someone's life. Now, I know this is a quick transition, but I need it. There's a little bakery in Palm Springs. It's called the Carousel Bakery. Carousel Bakery. The best thing I ever had, among many things my mom cooked as a child, was apple pie. I love apple pie. And because I didn't turn out to be a baker like my mom and all the beautiful cooking and the sewing and every wonderful thing she did, I have none of those talents. I missed my apple pie until I found Carousel Bakery. Now, I've done a program before about small business. Now, little tiny businesses like this, they can't afford television, radio, newspaper advertising. They could never afford the time here on my program, so I give it to them. Every now and then I find a business that I think is just really, really. Small business is the foundation of everything we have in our communities and in our country, and this is a small business. It's Elizabeth and her husband. He comes to work at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock every single morning, every day of the week. They don't take a single day off. Then she gets their little daughter ready. I think she's 7. And she takes her to school. And then she comes to work, Elizabeth. And they work all day, every day. But they don't just have apple pie. I had one of the really great sandwiches. They make wonderful sandwiches. They have a whole menu here. You see it up on the wall. I had a California ham sandwich. No onion. If you know of a small business that's basically does something really, really special, give me a call. I like to do this. Makes me feel good. I think it also helps the community because just recently, the Carousel Bakery and Elizabeth had to hire one person. They've created one job. Now, something about their apple pie. I have found out that when I went in all the time to get another piece, suddenly they were always out. So I had to order the whole pie, which is not expensive. You get a whole pie. I think they're only charging $15 or something. It's nothing for this pie. It's that thick. She peels the apples. Who does that? They usually buy them out of a can and throw them in the pie. She peels the apples. So I'm going to introduce you to the Carousel Bakery in Palm Springs. It's at the corner of Ramon and El Cielo. It's just south of the airport. There's a little shopping center there. You've got, oddly enough, Spectrum Communications has their office there. And the bakery is kind of almost right next to that. So of all the fact that I couldn't bring you the information I wanted to bring you today, I brought the information that I would have brought you anyway at a later date. So it's about understanding the value of logic, which apparently I'm trying to convince Charter of the logic of allowing me the educational programs. The logic of the banking industry is totally illogical when it comes to certain clients. The need for save somebody's life, and apple pie.